Greetings, friends! Medium here with some announcements. First, if you enjoyed the character of Manto, voiced by our fantastic Lindsay Rousseau, you should definitely check out Clutch, a kobold story, a 6-episode audio comedy about 3 kobolds embarking on an adventure to find a new dragon master after they accidentally killed their old one. Listen to it on YouTube, and keep an ear open for the familiar voice of everyone's favorite Ergothian pit fighter as she brings other characters to life. Congratulations, Lindsay! Second, in a few weeks you'll be able to watch myself and Samus, the voice of Onweir, play D&D with a few other amazing people as we explore what adventures await in the afterlife, playing Severed Threads, Notes from the Black Ballad, which is a campaign setting written and produced by the amazing talent at Storytellers Forge. That will be on Twitch and on YouTube, and it will be going up in a few weeks. Finally, please consider joining our Patreon. We have subscriptions for a variety of budgets and some very neat rewards to entice you. Also, come and join us on Discord for conversations about the podcast, Dragonlance, or anything at all. That's it for the announcements. On with the episode! Hail and well met, and welcome to Echoes of Krynn, Dragons of the Hidden Flood, a Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast set in the realm of Dragonlance. We'll begin our episode in just a moment, but first, our players.
Hello, I am Jade, and I'm the founder of Lawful Stupid RPG, and I am playing Tharin, the Dwarven Cleric of Shidare.
Hi, I'm Sukti Panda. I'm a Twitch streamer, and I play Teely Tumblewood, the Kender Bard.
Hi friends, my name is Samus. I am an opera singer, and I play Onweir, the human rogue and fallen Solemnic Knight.
Hi, I'm Chael. I'm not an opera singer. I'm a D&D super nerd, and I play Blip, the Gully Dwarf Barbarian Habope.
Hello, I'm Chops. I am a paranormal investigator, and today I'm playing Lhasa, the half-elven wizard.
Hiya, I'm Lindsay Rousseau, and I am a voiceover actor, host, and D&D Twitch streamer, and I am playing Monto Bubalina, the human fighter who resides in Urgoth.
And I'm Mr. Eager DM. I'm here to guide and to follow. Now, we invite you all to step with us into a world of fantasy, and for our time together, let imagination rule. Last time, having rescued Prince Jarvan from assassins and the perilous ruins beneath Gwynedd, the adventurers enjoyed the favor of Emperor Reddick V and his wife, taking the opportunity afforded by peace and safety to uncover the arcane powers of the stalwart shield, receive well-deserved rewards, and deepen bonds of fellowship and trust. Blip, you are taken to one of the largest rooms you've ever seen. You keep expecting to look up and see the sky. There's this enormous, bouncy, fluffy, rectangular thing in this room that you've never really seen before. You have no idea what it's for, but it's taking up an awfully large space in this room. You and Dinner, with servants looking askance at both of you, step into this room. A serving girl, wearing very plain colors but luxurious fabric that seems very constrictive, comes and bows very deeply in front of you, and then kneels down so that she can see you eye to eye. And she says, "Mistress Blip, is there anything that I or one of my companions can do for you?"
Scratch my face. Stare at her for a minute.
"Perhaps a bath."
No! No bath!
She falls back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Of course, no bath.
I know bath. You know bath. Dinner, no bath.
You want dinner, but not a bath.
I want food. Hungry. Dinner, hungry. You bring Habo food. Now.
Oh, of course. Anything that you want. Bread?
Ew.
Fruit? Meat?
Want drumsticks. All of them. You bring all drumsticks. Pile.
At once. She stands and scurries very quickly out of the room and then softly closes the door, leaving you and dinner alone in this vast chamber.
Yeah, rub my hands together greedily. I get all drumsticks. No more left. All high hopes.
Dinner goes over to the large, oblong, blankety, spongy thing and looks at one of the blankets and opens his mouth and grabs a corner of it and begins to sort of drag it off of the bed.
Dinner, what you do? What that?
He drops it. There's a large plant that is next to the fireplace. Looks over it and nudges it with his nose and then kicks it over.
You right, I know like. Good job. I'll quizzically approach the oblong thing in the center of the room and tentatively approach and poke it.
It's spongy.
But I'll poke it again.
Continues to be spongy.
I'll poke it a few more times. I'll get closer and I will jump up and do my best to scramble up onto the bed. As I scramble onto the bed, there's like this dark, lightly dark sort of trail of dirt and gross that's I'm leaving behind on the white sheets. Dinner, you come.
He backs up and comes running towards the bed and at the last moment hops up into the air and lands on the bed, and now you and Dinner are both on the bed.
I imagine whenever Dinner lands on the bed, it will sort of cause the bed to bounce.
Oh yes. It is very bouncy. That's clearly what this object is for.
Just and my eyes grow huge, the size of dinner plates, and I immediately begin to jump up and down. Dinner, fun! You jump! We tell!
As the two of you jump and jump, leaving clouds of dirt and debris with every single bounce, the door opens and there is a huge tureen piled high drumsticks, all lightly browned, and the wafting smell comes into the room and makes your mouth water.
And thus became Olive Garden.
Servants presented and then back out of the room.
As they enter, I'm jumping, and in midair, I immediately surge forward.
Bounce backwards off the bed.
And head straight for the drumsticks.
As you begin to eat, you become aware that you are not alone in this room. There is standing nearby watching you a very tall man wearing red robes. His hood is up. He's watching you.
I stop eating and I'll lower a drumstick. Sort of stare at this person. Who you?
My name is Thalmus, and I am pleased to see that you are enjoying the Emperor's hospitality. But this really isn't the place for a pig, now is it?
Pig? That's Dinner. I'll gesture with my drumstick flinging grease everywhere.
Of course. Don't you think that Dinner would be more comfortable in a place that is more to his liking? Place for animals. A place with straw. A trough for drinking.
I'll look over at Dinner. No. Dinner, my friend. He like.
Ah.
He likes squish. And I'll point back to the squishy sponge in the middle of the room. He no like plant. He kick over.
Interesting.
Room okay now.
You seem like a smart person.
I have both.
Of course. Do you really think this is the right place for either of you?
Yes.
As he says this, his hand begins to move and gesture in a strange way. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
God. 10.
As this man speaks, his voice very soothing, very compelling. As you hold the drumstick in your hand, you realize he might be right. Anybody this handsome, anybody this smart-looking, clearly has your best interests in mind. He would make a powerful ally for you, Highbop Blip.
As I'm smacking my lips on my drumstick. You right. You friend. Where I go?
Please follow me.
You tell Manto.
Of course, I would tell all your friends.
You tell Manto. You tell now. He has to know.
You don't need to worry about anything. Blip, I will take care of it. As should be expected for a Highbulb. You have too many important things than to worry about who knows what.
I gaze up at him and wonder. You right. I have hope. They not. You have hope assistant. No, what is a dumb word for assistant? You have hope grunt.
Yes, I am the Highbulb's grunt. Please follow me, Highbulb.
I toddle along after him, smacking my lips and leaving a trail of grease and fingerprints along the wall as I'll occasionally stop to touch things and look at them.
He does lead you, eventually, to the stables, which are massive. Arched roof going down a long hall that is nearly as large as some parts of the castle that you've just been in, and there are stalls along each side of this hall in which are magnificent horses. But as you explore around, you see there are also other beasts. Cows, chickens, probably quite a few fewer of those now that you've eaten every drumstick in the kingdom. Also pigs. He leads you past all of these to an area that seems a little bit put to the side from the massive and elegant stable. You see familiar faces there. You see Bringia and Castor, who had formerly been a part of the stables that were abutting against the Teatro Spire. Bringia comes immediately to her feet as Thalmus enters and bows deeply, and Castor looks up and also bows deeply. You see he's the boy, he has the long scar on his face, and Bringia, dark-skinned, friendly-looking. Both of them look expectantly at him, and he says, "This is Blip. She will be residing here until further notice. Is that understood?" "Yes, my lord." "Yes, my lord." "Good." He turns without another word and just leaves you there with Bringia and Castor.
Bye, Grunt. Bye, Grunt. And I'll just wave as he walks out.
Oh my god.
You are reacquainted with Bringia and Castor. Castor is as sullen as ever and does not apologize at all for throwing a bucket of water on dinner. Bringia is pleased to see you.
Why you here? What you do?
Oh, well, the Teatro Spire burned down, and we managed to find our way back here. We actually work for a man who is in charge of all of the stables in this area. And, well, we were fortunate that he was able to take us in. And it is good to see you again, Blip. Do you want us to try to brush you again?
No. You trick. No like.
It was Castor. I am well aware of how attached one can be to one's hair. If you don't want to be brushed, then I will not brush you. I promise.
I'll gaze at her very suspiciously. Sort of sniff. Okay. I'll take a huge mouthful of my drumstick. You won't bite?
I'm good, thank you.
Now what? This blip home. I high boat. All mine. I'll gesture wildly and more pieces of grease and drumstick will fling off of my hands.
Castor just, for the love of, stands up and storms out of the area. I agree. A nasty boy.
You won't ride dinner?
No, thank you.
Dinner strong. Steed.
You ride him.
Ride and battle. Not as good as Manto.
She listens to all that you have to say, is very patient. As she goes about her work, you can see her, she's mending various things and keeps looking at you. She's paying attention to all you say and occasionally comes over and pours water in a small cup for you.
I nod and I'll chug it all back in one gulp as it just pours down all over the front of my outfit.
The secret bath.
You would think it would make me clean, but it made me dirtier because it smeared the mud.
Eventually, you find yourself becoming sleepy. There is a pallet of hay nearby that has a blanket on it, and this you recognize. This is a bed. Bringia says that it is for you if you want it.
My bed. I'll jog over towards it and jump in, get on all fours and start to spin around in a circle one way, spin around in a circle another way, and flop down. I'll pat the area next to me. Dinner.
Dinner comes over and spins around one way and then spins around the other way and plops down right down next to you. Two of you snuggle up and go to sleep. But, Blip, you dream.
Oh no.
Why do you say that?
Oh no.
Anything that you say with an ominous tone, we have learned deserves an oh no.
Plus, when has a DM said you dream and it be positive?
Keep going. I'm intrigued.
You dream. Blip, you are standing in a sewer, but it's a sewer you're familiar with. This is close to the bump mine. Up a ways and to the left, that is where Dutra keeps you and the rest of the Grimers when you're not busy seeing to your duties. If you go to the right, that is where most of the rats live. If you go too far that way, the rats get so numerous that they become dangerous. But if you go a little bit of the ways, sometimes you can catch strays, and they are delicious. Dinner is there with you as well. He looks at you and puts his hooves on his waist, cocks his head and looks at you and says,
So what are we gonna do today, Hi Bob?
I think we get food.
That's always a good idea. You show me where the food is and I'll help you get it.
I'll nod decisively. We go that way.
That way.
I don't point. My hands are on my waist. I'm just like, that way.
That way. Good idea.
To the food.
Yes, food. We go to the food.
We get food.
This is good plan.
I'll point in the direction of the rats. That. Dinner. Go food. I'll make a little shooing motion.
You come.
He holds up his hooves.
Me no have fingers. Not good for rat catch.
You rat. You rat stomp. I rat catch.
I like stomp rat.
I like catch rat. Well, I guess we'll totter on that way.
He totters along beside you. Presently, you begin to see here in this dark and slimy, but no less familiar sewer, rats. They look at you with their beady red eyes.
Okay, dinner. We get. I look ominously at the rats and sort of point a finger at them.
What about them?
He looks back and you see Manto, Onweir, Teely, and Farron and Lhasa all sitting by a campfire. Right there in the middle of the sewer. Relaxing, looking comfortable, chatting breezily.
We get food for them?
We get food Manto.
Manto. I like Manto.
Manto friend. We get food him.
Me no like dwarf.
He no nice.
No food for dwarf.
No food. Little one. Lot of hair. Loud. We bring one.
Yes.
He goes over to one of the rats and stomps on it, and there's a squishing sound as Dinner has stopped a rat.
Good job. I throw both my arms in the air. I walk over, I'll scoop it up and scoop the guts into my hand,
Okay.
wipe it off on my hand, and tuck it into my pocket.
You see many of these rats around, and one by one you and Dinner manage to collect a decent amount of them, you catching and wringing their necks, him stomping. Then you see something that is bizarrely out of place. You've never seen anything quite like it here in the sewer. It is a feather. You've seen feathers before, but this one is beautiful. It is green and brown and yellow, and it's perfect.
I'll drop the rat that I'm holding, inhale sharply. I'll cautiously approach it, bend over, and gently and tenderly, as best I can, pick the feather up.
It's very light. As you bring it up, you're tempted to let it go, and it hangs in the air a moment before lightly floating down and back into your hands.
I'll do that a couple more times as I watch it fall.
Pretty.
I keep. High Bope, keep.
As you hold on to this feather, looking at it and focusing on it, there is a hissing sound that begins to grow around you.
I'll shake the feather and look at it and hold it up to my ear.
Doesn't appear to be coming from the feather. But as you do that, Dinner slowly moves closer to you and puts his back up against yours and says,
Hi, Bope. They're lot rats. More rat than I stomp.
You look around and see that where before there were maybe 6 or a dozen rats, perhaps, now there are dozens and dozens, all of them looking at you with red eyes, and their mouths are a little too large, and they're all open with sharp yellow fangs, and they're hissing at you.
Start to breathe heavier and faster. Glance around nervously, tense up. I'll hold the feather lightly in one hand and clench a fist in the other. Where Manto? Manto, save!
Hi, Bope. Scared. I scared.
Manto! Manto, save!
Your voice echoes down the sewer, but you've lost sight of Manto. You look around, and this mass of rats begins to roil and move like a wave. It begins to move in a sinewy fashion, almost taking the form of a snake, as if all of the rats are moving like a flock of starlings, becoming bigger than they are. They grow into a large bulbous shape with 4 massive stump-like legs, a huge mouth full of sharp teeth that extends from this wad of flesh like the face of an alligator with no eyes, and 3 enormous tentacles that come up and begin to writhe right up in front of you. It opens its mouth and once again hisses, but this time there's a
Die as all things must.
Oh, God.
and we will roll initiative. Blip.
Oh, jeez.
Well, joke's on you. That's a 21.
All right, nicely done. I also have to roll initiative for dinner.
No point rolling initiative. Just roll 4d6, drop lowest.
Ooh, dinner got a 19.
Yes!
This creature also got a 19. We're going to say that it goes before dinner.
Shit.
Blip, as this thing writhes up in front of you, just opens its mouth and its enormous purplish tongue comes out and lashes in front of you. What do you do?
Stop. I tense up. Stomp my feet. First the left, then the right. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Get mad. I start beating my chest with my fists. Ooh. Ooh, I get mad and I rage.
All right. As you feel the anger moving through you, how dare this thing? This is your sewer. This is where you belong, not whatever this is. It should go back to being rats. And it begins to just rise up in front of you. You feel strength coming to you from this rage. And you look down and you see that this feather is glowing in your hand. What do you do?
I glance down at the feather. Ooh! And I eat it.
Yes! It's not the tastiest thing you've ever eaten, but your rage-fueled hunger just... You just choke it down, and it goes into you. And as it does, you feel more strength coming to you. It's rising up. You're feeling very snuffly and angry, and you can feel some of your teeth beginning to grow in your mouth as tusks emerge from the bottom part of your jaw, and you look down at your hands and they turn into sharp-looking hooves, and you just want to take a bite out of this thing.
Bite! And I'll lunge forward, sharp hooves outstretched, mouth open, my tusks glistening and drool and bits of feather just dripping down out of my mouth.
Make an attack, please, and you are allowed to use your bestial rage.
This is incredible.
A hell of a time.
A dirty 20 to hit.
Dirty 20 hits. Roll your bite attack, Blip.
That is 6 points of ripping tusk damage.
You rip a chunk out of this thing. It tastes awful. Not like a rat at all. And it...
Dare you!
As it tries to swipe you away with one of its tentacles.
Just shake my head like a dog with a piece of creature in my mouth.
I've rolled an 11, Blip.
11, no hit.
The other tentacle comes swiping towards you. Oh, this time it's a natural 20. You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage, Blip. As you hear behind you.
What do I do? I'm Hey, you look good.
I just sort of give a hoof up in the air and throw my arm forward. Bite!
Yeah!
He comes charging past you towards this creature. He's going to use his charge attack. Moves 20 feet straight towards it, actually, so he's going to have to actually back up. He goes back a few feet. Comes charging forward. He hits AC 10, which is not going to be enough as he goes right underneath. He puts his head down and barrels through, goes right through the legs of this creature, right underneath it, and skids to a stop the other side of it. So now you and Dinner are flanking this large creature. It is your turn, Blip.
Bop! I balk! And I'm gonna lunge forward with my tusks out as far out as I can to take a huge chunk out of this monster.
Go for it.
19.
That is a hit.
Yes.
Roll your damage.
That is 5 points of shredding damage.
All right, you come forward and your tusks clamp down on the large purple tongue of this thing, and you just yank and pull the tongue right out of the creature that makes a guttural noise, and you can tell it's trying to scream and say something. but it can't because it has no tongue. Just... It begins to fall apart and rats rain down from it and scurry away. You see dinner behind this creature jumping up and down, stomping on them, trying to kill as many as it can as this thing melts. And all the rats go scurrying away in all directions.
I'm going to grab the tongue, part of it in my mouth, the other half in my two little hooves, and I'm going to rip it in half. I'm going to gulp down mine and go, dinner, treats, and throw it onto the ground.
Dinner comes over and looks at it on the ground and says,
I want to eat.
Dinner, eat with mouth.
Okay.
He reaches down and begins to gnaw on this piece of flesh on the ground. As he does, a sense of weary contentment flows through you. You no longer feel quite as angry, just triumphant.
This is beautiful.
The next morning you awaken, feeling more refreshed than you have in quite some time. You look down at your hands and you see there is a beautiful green, yellow, and brown feather in one of them.
And I'll carefully tuck it into my pocket.
Does it have teeth marks, Sean?
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right, sit your backsides down. It's time for a commercial.
What's a commercial, Farron?
Well, it's a special shout-out to those who look after us, you see. In this case, it's when dwarves come together, share our trinkets and collections. Imagine sacred role-play games, collectible cards, miniatures, and even a dwarf's favourite, comic books. Everything you can think of to keep our hearts aflame with the spirit of adventure.
Farron?
Oh, yes, my dear.
You're acting really weird. But where'd you get all this cool stuff? I mean, did you steal it from a dragon's hoard?
What? Absolutely not. The cheek of it. Kender's accusing me. I buy all my treasures from Borderlands comics and games. Incredible merchant.
Ooh, does this merchant by chance have a stall in the market square of Gwynedd? Oh, and do they have, those, action figures or statues?
Oh, no, girl, they're not in Gwynedd.
Oh, yes, Farron. I know just the kind she means. But, if not Gwynedd, then where?
They're not from here at all, actually. But they do have just what you described. The merchant can be found in the realm of Greenville, South Carolina. You can also use a sending stone. See if they have just what you're after. Some bizarre, untrustworthy, magical thing, probably of gnomish invention, can deliver it.
Ooh, I love gnomes, although I can never understand them.
But lucky for you, they're human, just like Anweir and Manto. But they are much more approachable and friendly than our one-armed archer. The prices are great. Imagine just your silver and not your steel pieces. Their shop is very clean and inviting, and they even welcome small folk and have a special area just for them.
Like me and Blip?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no, Teely, come now. Farron clearly means children. You know, and also those small men that come from the 41st millennium. Something about a warhammer, I think. And well painted, too.
Oh, so we can't go?
Well, only if Anweir takes you both. He'll love that. We'll just have to message them beforehand. No doubt they will have a no Kender and Gully Dwarf policy.
Ooh, I love this one.
No touching.
And this comic
Put
book?
them back.
Ooh, what's this golden card?
Oh,
get your wandering hands
look.
off them. Is that my mint coat at number 23?
I thought maybe all
Magic
of this
cards.
would be too valuable for you to carry, so really you should be thinking about
Visit Borderlands Comics and Games in Greenville, South Carolina. Read, build, play. Find them at borderlands.us on the web and Borderlands CG on Instagram.
Please tell them Farron True Self will send you.
Does anybody else have anything they wish to do?
I would like to stop by Anweir's room, if possible.
Wow. Okay, yes. All right, so we'll say that this is still relatively early in the week. Some of you may have had an opportunity to speak with the Emperor and his family privately, if you wish. That is always on the table. Let me know if anybody wishes to do that during this time. Morning, afternoon, evening, when would this be, Teely?
Probably in the evening, around the time that most people would be going to bed.
Onweir, there's a knock on your door right as we were thinking about putting on your pajamas.
What?
It's me, Teely.
What?
Can I come in?
It's bedtime, Teely. Go to bed.
It's not bedtime right now for me, at least, because I'm not gonna go to bed right now.
Ah, I see. I am.
You won't want to when I tell you what I got planned. You just gotta open that door. Adventure awaits.
Teely, make a persuasion check.
You really got to put this behind dice?
I am, actually.
All right.
Yeah, I roll an 8, and as you're probably about to reject me,
Yes.
I just open the door.
Oh, you got a nice room. This is wonderful in here.
Yes, it's ideal for one.
Well, you know what would be great?
Sleep?
After a good time, because I have a question for you.
Ask it quickly, Teely.
Okay, so you know how you're really good at looking at things and finding things, and you're always like, whoa, what's that? Because you could just tell everything, you're just really aware.
What's your question, Teely?
I'm looking for something, and I thought, what's the fun in me just wandering around all by myself if I can have a buddy?
What are you looking for?
Okay, so you're not gonna believe this, but there is... At Slippy Keep, okay? Have you been to Slippy Keep?
I have not.
Okay, so Slippy Keep's great. One day we should go 100%. But, there I found an old instrument, and on the back it had some notes about there being a secret treasure room in this castle.
If there's a treasure room in this castle, Teely, I believe it belongs to the people who live in it.
Well, the thing is that they're not using it, because it would have belonged to, Estrevos?
I'm looking at a piece of paper where I've noted down what it said.
Estrevos, whoever that is.
And so what makes you think that it's yours now?
Because it was written on the back of a rotting lute that said that this guy had a secret room, and my Uncle Trapspringer it's just, no one's using it.
Teely, sit down for a moment.
I plop myself just on the floor, cross-legged, looking up at him. My feet tapping on their sides in excitement, just raring to go.
Teely, you've done a great thing in helping to save Jarvan. So much so that you have the potential to change an entire region's view on your kind. And when we were fighting the assassins in the underground, I witnessed you take the prince's necklace and pocket it. Now, I would hate to see all of this incredible progress wiped away for deeds that some may look at as thievery.
How dare you?
Teely, believe it or not, you're not the first Kender I've met. I understand that you have a different understanding of ownership, and I respect it. But you have to understand that your actions have consequences. And if you want to make changes here, to show people how wonderful Kender actually are, you should be very careful about what you do. Does that make sense?
I narrow my eyes and my brow is furrowed.
Did you just call me a thief?
No, Teely. I'm saying others might think that.
Well, they would be wrong.
If one of the Imperial Guard were to find Jarvan's necklace on your person, they would think that. And while I understand that you didn't steal it from him, they would look at it very differently.
Just hold on a second. So, I'm using my lyre, and he takes it from me. He steals from me.
Yes, that was a theft.
And when he's not using this thing around his neck, he's not using it. He's just leaving it there. You just let it hang out all willy-nilly, and I take it, and I put it in my pocket, and I keep it safe. That's different.
Tilly, he was wearing it. It was on his neck. He was wearing it.
But he was laid on the ground. That could have fallen off. I just found it.
Maybe this will make more sense. I reach in beneath my robe, and I pull out a necklace that has a very simple, rather unattractive metal band. Do you see this, Tilly?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that's very, very important to me. I can't even take it off. The chain is forged around my neck. But if you ever happen to find it, it would mean a lot to me if you returned it. I may not be using it. When I'm sleeping, I don't have it in my hand. But if I were to wake up and it were missing, it would cause me great pain.
Why is it forged around your neck? You mean you can't take it off? It's just stuck around your neck?
Yes,
How does that work?
it's meant to be a part of me, Tilly.
Is it a wedding ring? They're supposed to go on your finger.
You see my face wrinkle up in a little bit of anguish. Suffice it to say, Tilly, I would rather lose my other arm.
Well, okay, so listen. If I found this lying around, you would want me to return it to you. How would I return it to you if I'm not to pick it up? Do you want me to just leave things where they are, or do you want me to pick them up and then return them? I don't understand. I would be here all day if I just grabbed people's possessions and then went, here you go, in case you were looking for this. You weren't using it right now, and it's pointless just being there, but here you go. Wouldn't that get kind of tiresome?
Maybe I'm exhausted, but that actually makes a little sense to me.
It does, doesn't it?
The point I'm trying to make, Tilly, is that you're doing good things here.
Thank you.
I would hate to see them undone due to a misunderstanding. I think you should find a way to very quietly, undetectably, return the necklace to Prince Jarvan. Just because he took the lyre from you doesn't mean that you can't be better.
He doesn't even know it's missing. It's not even like it's his.
Do you trust me, Tilly?
I do.
I promise. It's for the greater good.
Oh, okay. I've heard about this. It's called you call it replacing, where you swap something in exchange, right?
Yes. If you manage to find your lyre, you can replace it with his necklace.
Gotcha.
I would do that without other people knowing.
Yes, but would you like to come with me still?
Not even a little bit, Tilly.
Okay. Alright, well, I tried. So, okay.
And I will reach into my pocket and grab a small pebble. And I will place it on the counter of his room. And I will look at him with an expecting grin and kind of gesture at it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'll go over to the table where I have some of the food that I haven't touched, and I will give you an apple.
Ooh. Thank you.
Good night, Teely.
Good night, Anweer.
And despite myself, I am smiling.
I turn around and with this apple in my hand, just looking at it like it's the most beautiful thing in the world, that I kind of walk face first into the the door frame before actually making the correct path and heading outside.
As you close the door behind you, you hear a very distinct sound of a lock clicking.
And as you turn around from the door, the pebble's gone.
Oh my god, I love you. You're a mess.
Manto, I imagine you have some things to think about
Yes.
and perhaps discuss.
Yes. First of all, I am sure that my father is terrified that I never came home, and I don't know if the Emperor was smart enough to send a messenger to my father to tell him that I was alive. So I'm very concerned that my father thinks I might be dead, since the last he heard, I was thrown in prison. So I need to obviously go home and ensure that I am very much alive. But yes, the Emperor raising the matter of being an Imperial Guard is absolutely something that we need to talk about because we have been avoiding that for many, many, many years.
All right, so as you leave the roof and head down to the Shelf District, you pass by familiar places. You've traveled across these streets many times, but have rarely had an opportunity to cross over the bridges that span the gap between the two parts of Gwynedd. It's interesting coming back towards the shelf, looking down on it. It's a perspective on it that you haven't been able to have many times, and you could see how it could become a habit. People who live up here on the roof, always looking down on the shelf. It must play some part, even subconsciously, in how they view that part of the city. Nevertheless, you find yourself home. There is a familiar sound of the banging of a hammer, your father in the forge. Ching, ching, ching. Rhythmic, steady, comforting.
I walk straight in. Father! Father! I shout louder.
The hammer stops before hitting again as his back is to you and he freezes. You see his shoulders tense and then relax and then ping! One final hit. Grab me them tongs, will ya?
Yes, Father. Without even looking, because I know this shop so well, I just reach over on a counter and grab these tongs that he needs and walk towards the forge with them.
He takes the tongs and looks at you. See his skin very dark, his beard close-cropped, his head bald. The deep, deep indigo lines that swirl around his face, indicating that he was married, that he is a smith, that he has one child. He takes the tongs, reaches into the fire, pulls out a piece that's been sitting there, red hot, puts it on the anvil and strikes it. Ping! Sparks fly. So, I heard that you were put in prison.
It was a misunderstanding. You know how these nobles get when they feel that they have been upstaged. He brought it on himself.
Of course he did. Ping! But I thought you'd be smarter than to bait him that way. Ping!
I know, Father, and I tried to hold my tongue like you have taught me. You know I do not wish to cause problems. But his arrogance was like an itch under my skin that I just could not scratch. I finally broke and had to say something.
Well then, I suppose we're lucky that a night in jail is all it took.
I did spend the night in jail, but then So much has happened. We had the most unusual and amazing experience. I was in a play, and then there were assassins, and then we were underground, and we discovered ancient ruins, and I helped save the son of the Emperor. And after that, all was forgiven.
All right, tell me exactly how much you've been drinking. He slams the hammer down, turns to face you fully for the first time, and folds his arms. Massive shoulders, arms bulging with muscles, very small waist, burly hair bursting out from beneath the leather apron that he is wearing, covered with soot. Burn marks all up his arms, hands thick with calluses, folds his arms and looks at you with an incredulous look.
Father, I promise you, I am as sober as I have ever been. In fact, I cannot remember the last time I've had a drink. All of this is true. Look at the clothes I am wearing. And I never put on the full noble wear because it just didn't feel right to me. So I basically took pieces because my clothes were in tatters, obviously. I assumed I was still wearing what was for the play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably kept the Solemnic Night pants and then just fashioned a top. But you can tell that I'm wearing fabric that is much higher quality than our family ever would have had access to. So it still looks very subtle and nondescript, but you can tell that the fabric and the sewing is of a quality that we would not be able to afford.
He takes a long look at your clothing. I saw the theater burning. We all watched it. That was you.
Yes. Assassins came and were trying to assassinate the Emperor's son. And I did what you have taught me to do my whole life. I fought, and I fought back. And I hope I would have made you proud. And I have met some of the most unusual people. We came together and fought together and saved each other. And I did not feel out of place. Even Blip was there, and they accepted her. It was a feeling I have never felt before in my life. To have someone who does not care about the markings on your face or the clothes on your back.
So, you fought. You won. People liked you for it.
So much so that the Emperor is throwing a festival for us. You are invited. But he also made a proposition. He offered that I become one of the Imperial Guards.
His eyes widen, his mouth opens and then closes. He swallows. You're serious?
I told him that I must discuss it with you and think on it. I needed to find an excuse to get away because this is what we have feared.
Well, first of all, well done. That's incredible. I'm proud. But obviously you can't accept.
No. But I cannot defend the Emperor, because I do not know what kind of wrath that would rain down upon you and me.
So what then? You say you're unfit, or...
Yes, and I think that these new friends, I suppose I can call them friends. I do not know them for very long, but we have been through so much together, I think I can call them friends. I suspect that these might be the ones to help me finally leave Gwynedd and pursue my dreams. And I have had the Solemnic shield strapped to my back. I take it off and I show it to him. It is providence that this came to me. For when I was on the stage, they thought it was a mere prop. But I knew it was not. It was the real thing, and And there is one in our group who is experienced in the ways of magic, and he said that there is much power in this shield, in this metal.
He was reaching out to take it from you, and he pauses for a moment and looks at you, eyebrow raised, grits his teeth and reaches out and takes it and holds it and hefts it in his hands. Steel. Worth a fortune. Maybe it is true then. I've been trying to tell myself you had some fantasy, but... Zeno. The Imperial Guard. It's incredible. I wish there was some way.
As do I. Because, as much as I have my dreams, it pains me to think to be apart from you. But we both know that as long as I stay here, I cannot have a proper life fighting in the pits.
I've always been afraid of losing you like I lost your mother. I suppose I didn't do you any favors agreeing to this charade.
You did what you thought was best, and I have always agreed with your decision. Can you imagine if you had raised me different? I would be nobody. I would be nowhere. I would be toiling away serving somebody else. But even in the pits, even with all of the danger, I served myself. And I was able to do something that made you proud, and that proved to people that I am worth more than my birthright.
Puts his hand on your shoulder. This decision is yours. If you need to leave, I understand. But if you choose to stay, I'll stand by you.
I think that it is time that my journey takes me beyond these shores. But because I am in the Emperor's good grace, I think that I can use that to help you. For as we know, if he is willing to offer me a position in the Imperial Guard, perhaps he would extend that offer to you to be the Master Armorer of the Imperial Guard.
Imagine that. But no. The reasons that you can't accept are the same reasons I can't. If the truth were ever to come out, and I was anywhere near the Imperial Palace, well, they'd kill me.
This is very true. Then the secret shall remain ours. But I will always provide for you, and will always find a way to come back.
Interesting day. He turns back to his work.
While he's doing that, like you said, the pinging is very rhythmic to me. And I just, like a glove, fall into assisting him, and we do it in complete silence. I anticipate his every need. If it's a tool he needs or bucket of water, we literally are just like a machine doing this. You can tell a sense of peace just comes over me. Like, this is a very cathartic kind of meditative sort of thing. And when we take a break, leaning back, probably drinking from a stein, I will take the 200 steel out of my pouch, and I will put it in his hands, his large, calloused, sooty hands.
You should have led with this.
What would have been the fun in that? You can buy a lot for this.
Imperial Guard. Well done. I wish things were different. You deserve better, Zeno.
All I have ever deserved is you. And with that, I will set my stein down, and I will squeeze his hand, and then walk back out the door.
He grabs your hand as you go to leave and pulls you into a huge hug. Just envelops you. You feel small.
And I squeeze him back as best I can, but it's like hugging, a stone wall or something, but it's so comforting to me. And yeah, I just like kind of relax and tears are streaming down my eyes. I'm gonna cry, you guys, I'm gonna cry.
I know, right? It's so verklempt.
Between Adweir and Lhasa and me and my dad, this is a heart-wrenching episode. And then blip.
Who's cutting onions?
I know, right?
Whoever put these tears all over my robe, I blame you for all of this.
Oh my god. I feel very fortunate as a DM to have you all as my players. Thank you very much for everything tonight, and I will see you all next time. That brings us to the end of this episode. As always, thank you for listening. If you want to help ensure the continuation and quality of this podcast, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/echoesofkrynn. And if you just feel like chatting, come and join our Discord page. Until next time, es solaris oath mythos. Farewell.